Welcome to your reading, Aquarius. I'm just trying to get a little focus here on these flowers that I managed to get out of the the backyard next to the shed for your reading tonight. I have no idea what they are, but something tells me that you will. Now, we'll move one of them over here just so we can see the pretty color. We are going to do the Prisca spread tonight. Thank you for voting in the poll. So basically what happens is we're going to get 3 rows of 3 cards, and it represents what's going on around you. The final row will indicate what's coming up for you in the future. The middle row is what's going on around you right now and what's happening. The row in the back indicates that somewhat as well. We're going to be using 2 decks. In this deck, this is called the Heaven and Earth Tarot, and we are going to give it 2 more hard. We have a little problem with the Sun card in this deck. It's been torn, but it usually does not interfere with whether or not it's going to come out. All right, so we're going to give it 3 soft, and then we're just going to lay them out in 1 more soft. I already shuffled it for you, Aquarius, but I always like to give it a little extra shuffle, as you know. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3 for the past. It makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to push this back here because what we're going to do is focus on the row that we're dealing with at that time. Wow. And the future. Wow, beautiful. And the bottom of the deck is the World. Incredible. I have to be careful about focusing in on that because would you believe that the YouTube sometimes dings tarot readers for any kind of thing that could be construed as nudity in the cards. So what I'm getting from the World right now, as you know, it's a card of completion. It also has to do with having completed your spiritual journey and having shed all your earthly attachments and being ready to help others. It's a very, very powerful card. You know, in the corners of the card, we have what is supposed to represent Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And thus, the card also represents being able to have an open interpretation of God, having an open interpretation of who Jesus was, and being able to recognize the one true thread that weaves through every single religion in the world. Which, by the way, is, if you ever wondered what Prisca Theologia means, that's exactly what it means. The one truth that exists in every religion in the world. But I mean, it's a phenomenally good card to have at the bottom of your reading. It's just incredible. So we are going to focus on the past first before we look at what's going on around you. I'm just going to move these cards over here and pull toward us what we're looking at not at the present moment, but we're just going to look at what was going on in the past here. And I am going to turn the lighting down just a little tiny bit. I want to make it clear, by the way, that all my readings are for male and female Aquarius. So I just apologize if it sounds like I'm talking about it from a woman's perspective, but you're just going to have to cut me a little slack there, guys. All right. Now, in the past, what I find fascinating are these 2 cards right here. So first of all, what I see in the past, well, first of all, we have the 9 of Cups, which is the card that everybody wants to see. It's the wish card. It's Jupiter in Pisces. It's this incredible card of, getting everything that you want. But there are 9 cups. And isn't the 10 of cups the card of ultimate emotional fulfillment? What's fascinating about this card is all that's in the card are cups, right? Which usually represent the non-material emotional fulfillment. See if I can see cups, 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 and there are 9 cups there. But have a look at what that says there. It says, material happiness. Why does this card say material happiness? It says material happiness because the idea is that person, it's almost like a kid who makes a list of what they want for Christmas. And imagine if they get everything that they want. But then there's this angst that, but they're not quite fulfilled. And so that's the 9. When you go to the 10 of cups, you have complete and utter 100% emotional and fulfillment and pure happiness. There is nothing unfulfilled in the 10 of cups. So what I'm saying is, the point is that true happiness is not based on material things. Sometimes we think it is. We think that material things will bring us happiness. Well, why is it then that some people who have just a few material things are really, really, really happy? Some people are. And then I'm sure you probably know, well, I do anyway. I know at least one very wealthy person. It's an ex-boyfriend, and he will never be happy. He has all the money in the world. And there's always something that he's striving for. He's never satisfied. Doesn't like being alone. So the idea, so that's why this card, the 9 of cups, the wish card, and that's why they say be careful what you wish for, because you might get it, and will it really make you happy? Now, if you are already at the 10 of cups, it might be, a new car or something might be the icing on the cake. But the thing is, that person will be happy without that car, right? They already have that happiness. So the reason why I think this makes incredible sense is because of this card over here. Now, for some reason, we have a King of Pentacles in the past as well. And we have you moving on and walking away. So some of you may have walked away either from a marriage, or some of you may have walked away from a married man, okay, or a married woman, or some of you may have just simply walked away. Some of you may be a bunch of monks who sold their Ferraris, quote unquote. There's a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. My father gave it to me years ago as a gift, and it is one of my favorite books. I highly recommend it. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. And it's about a very wealthy, rich lawyer who has been incredibly successful in life. He has an actual Ferrari. He's in the middle of a closing argument in court, but he's gotten to the point where he drinks too much and he eats too much, and he's not as prepared or polished that he used to be, and he has a heart attack right in the middle of his closing argument. And then it picks up, it goes through what the story is actually told from the perspective of his assistant, who then he kind of is very hurt because his boss, this guy's had the heart attack, then leaves the country, and he doesn't. And one night, a year later, he hears a knock on the door, and it's the guy who had the heart attack, but he doesn't recognize him because it looks like a man who's 20 years younger and thinner, and he's wearing this monk's, coat, and he's all full of life. And what the rich man did, who had the heart attack, is he sold everything after he got out of the hospital. Thank God he survived. He sold every material good that he had, and then he went to somewhere in the Himalayas. Now this is not, it's supposed to be a fable, but I believe it actually happened. And he manage to get someone to bring him to these monks who they don't speak, right? Well, they spend a great deal of the day without speaking, just in silence. And he spent a year living with them outside, somewhere in the Himalayas, and learning all of this incredible. There was a cellular change, a physical change in his appearance. So that could be you in the past, or it could simply be that you've walked away from that lifestyle, or from a King of Pentacles. Now, because notice over here we have material happiness, we've got a king, and then we have abandoned success. So the Eight of Cups, which is Saturn in Pisces, what that woman, look at her beautiful long hair. I love that. I love this card. The reason why she's walked away, and the reason why she's walked away, and this is true of the original card as well, is that the water has become stagnant. You could stay there. It's okay. It's okay, but she has to move on. So now let me just give you add a little bit more richness to the card. It's a situation where you may have had to take a loss. This could be, there is some loss and sadness in this card. So you may have walked away from a career, or you may have walked away from money. You may have lost money, lost a career. But this person is moving forward despite the loss and the sadness. They're putting one foot in front of the other, and they're doing what's necessary. They're not going to stay there and die, or stay there and suffer through something that didn't really bring them true happiness. So I find that beautiful. All right. Now, this is incredible because this represents the present moment. So we have a card of Sagittarius, a card of Scorpio, and a card of Leo. Now, I feel that you're right here, right now. This is the Seven of Wands. It's called Lord of Valor. All right, and it's because of everything that you've been through. It's a very victorious card. It is the card where somebody is standing their ground. They are able to win when it's 6 against 1, and they have clicked with the divine, and the divine, because the divine assists them, they can win any battle. Any battle. You may have had to face naysayers. You may be facing them right now. These could simply be challenges to your ideology, or something that's, these could be negative thoughts that you're not succumbing to, or it could be people at present who are coming toward you that you're just keeping at bay. You're just keeping at bay. I do see something kind of troublesome, and I don't think that's definitely not you. Back here is a King of Wands. Now, there's somebody here, this person, I'm reading this in the lower polarity right now because that's the energy I'm getting from it. Sometimes he's the cheating king. It can be a ringleader. So there could be a group of people around you, and this person may be inciting, maybe trying to organize some kind of challenge against you at present, but it's not going to work. But I'll tell you what I do see in the present moment coming toward you, that you're ready to fight off, which you might want to think twice about this. There's a different energy here. There's a Knight of Cups here. This is a card of Scorpio. Knights are fixed. That's fixed water. It's pure Scorpio energy. His helmet has wings on it. Those are the wings of Hermes, who was the messenger of God. There's a love. There's love in that, whatever is coming toward you. It's some kind of an offer. The horse is white. So there's purity. There's something that's going to be coming in at present moment, at the right time, in the right way, at the right pace. and it will be presented in the right way. It does look like you're ready to fight it off. But I do like the position that you're taking here in this card of valor. Isn't this beautiful, that word for you right now? Because contrary to the other person, look at the determined look on your face and the look of confidence, which is completely contrary to the other deck, where the person looks like they're in a panic. This person is not in a panic. They're quite confident. They have their rod ready, but they are looking and assessing at these faceless sticks, these sticks that are coming toward them. So at present, just be ready, because something really cool is coming in. Now, the future looks absolutely fantastic, Aquarius. So I'm seeing you here and here. So in this, such a powerful message here for these future cards. In the future, you will have mastery over your mind. In other words, you will have mastery over your thoughts. You will have mastery. You will be able to pull in, rein in any negative thought or any repetitive thought that tends to keep you. Let me just start here. This here. So, and of course, in the future, there will always be the possibility of being in this energy. So, what is this? It's called the Lord of Shortened Force. It's the Eight of Swords. It's Jupiter in Gemini. So there could be a Gemini coming in your future. But of course, in that card, there is the energy of someone being unable to move in any direction, only because they are allowing some negative thought to completely keep their mind in this state of confusion. Now, here you are. I'll get back to this in a moment. Look how you're raising your sword here. The Queen of Swords draws out the truth, assesses facts. That's the sword of clarity. Do you want to look and see what's in her other hand? I believe that's what you're going to do with... They say that the Queen of Swords can be head over heart, but that's how you're dealing with that head. Let's say that head represents the negative thoughts that are going through this person's head. And this is how you're doing it. So we have the Chariot here. And there is an absolute famous quote for the Chariot, which I'm going to give you in a moment. But what the Chariot represents, the horses are the emotions, all right? The body in the Chariot is in fact the mind, and the reins are the control that you have over the negative thoughts. So in other words, there are no reins. So the mind is operating. That you actually don't even need any reins in this card. Why? Because you have these emotional horses, or here they're sphinxes, completely under control. The mind has the emotions under control. So the Chariot, there's also a number 7 there. And I want to show you how a 7 is a card of victory. The Chariot is a card of victory. Victory, valor, 7 of Wands, victory. The number 7, the 7th Sephira on the Tree of Life is called Netza. And it in essence, what it means is the will to overcome. And how is it done? it's done because you decide, I will win. And it's an actual mental decision. And you might say, well, how is that possible? Well, there have been many, many documented examples of how that works. For example, a 5'2", 110-pound woman who was able to wrestle her child out of the jaws of an alligator or a crocodile when it would have been physically impossible. Physics would tell us it's physically impossible for her to have done that. But she looked at that and just, she loves that child. I will get that child out of those jaws. And she successfully does it because there's something magical that happens. And Netza, that is the power of Netza. And it's done because this person, they've crossed the abyss, all right? The abyss, there is a river of water there. And they have what does that mean? They have the ability. They have gone from it separates the actual material world and the subconscious world. The ability to be able to master creation from the subconscious, from nothing, to create something from nothing. The crossing of the abyss. And in order to do that, you do need a little help from above. So the essence of this reading is that you win. The future is a victory. And it's not only is it a victory, this could be a material thing that you're manifesting, because this, of course, is a card of manifestation. It's a card of victory. But you will be emotionally fulfilled. This could be a relationship or a career. It's victory. It's whatever you decide that you want. You win. It could actually be an actual legal victory, be some kind of a victory. But I want you to really take note of how you've done it here. It's mental mastery. That's what you've done. So I just dug out some old decrepit notes that I made about 12 years ago on this very thing, on this chariot. It's a very, very historical card. Anyway, here is the quote. The self, the higher self, is the rider in the chariot of the body, in which the horses are the feelings and senses, and the mind is the reins. And that's why no physical reins are needed. I also dug out one of the some old decrepit notes from 12 years ago that I made on Netza. Because I wanted to go back to this. It's not just that the chariot is Netza, but the Seven of Wands is as well. This seven, the Lord of Valor, courage of the heart. 7 is the number of victory. And I have one little note here that I highlighted this 12 years ago. Letting the divine fight your battles for you. That's why I always say that person has a little help from above. That's why you can win when it's 6 against 1. People might say, how the heck did Aquarius do that? Well, Aquarius has got an army of spiritual angels and God on their side. Aquarius, that was just amazing. So the future is a total victory. And I'm really interested to know in what it is that you're going to be manifesting. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you think in the comment section.